Hello, good morning everyone. Good morning Mr. Stubas and Mas Ferdi. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mbak.
Okay, thank you so much for coming to this event, and I hope you guys have a great weekend ahead. And welcome to Jojo Webinar untuk semua teman-teman audiens yang udah pada gabung. Jadi topik hari ini adalah digital learning and development for employee to fit the modern workplace. This webinar will be delivered in Bahasa and English. But before this event begins, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Dinda, and I'm from Jojonomic. Jadi hari ini aku akan menjadi host kalian dan nanti akan dibantu oleh teman saya namanya Gina akan menjadi moderator. Oke, kalau gitu Mbak Gina, you can take over.
Thank you, Dinda. Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gina, as Head of Marketing and Creative at Jojonomic, where Jojonomic itself is an all-in-one business platform for company management and productivity. Halo semuanya, perkenalkan nama saya Gina sebagai Head of Marketing and Creative di Jojonomic, di mana Jojonomic adalah platform bisnis all-in-one untuk manajemen dan produktivitas perusahaan. So, before we begin, I would like to express our gratitude to both of our speakers. Today we have very remarkable ones joining here with us. First, I'd like to welcome Mr. Subas Gopinathan. Hello, Mr. Subas. How are you?
Hello. Very well, thank you. Good morning.
Are you probably speaking in Jakarta or perhaps in Singapore?
At this moment, I'm in Hong Kong, actually.
Oh, are you in Hong Kong?
Yes, I cannot leave anywhere because of COVID, so I'm stuck here for a while.
But it's such a pleasure to have you join here. And once again, thank you very much for joining our webinar. As a brief introduction, Mr. Subas has an extensive leadership experience in various global corporations and industries, including manufacturing, banking, and consumer goods. He developed expertise in the areas of finance, compliance, implementation, and training, covering different business environments all across the globe. Right now, he is the managing director and co-founder at ProSpark, where ProSpark is a global and user-friendly learning management system that enables organizations to onboard, train, certify, conduct knowledge transfer, collaborate, and connect their customers and employees. Next up, of course, we have Mr. Arya Ferdi Ramadhani, or as we usually call Mr. Ferdi. Hello, Mr. Ferdi. How are you?
Hi, Mbak. Fine.
Mana kabarnya, Mbak?
Thank you. Baik, Mbak.
Berarti lagi dari rumah ya?
Iya, dari rumah. Udah setahun nih, ulang tahun nih sekarang, Maret ke Maret. Di rumah terus.
Oh iya juga ya, udah setahun ya. Okay. Alright. We're so delighted to have you here with us. So Mr. Ferdi is a psychologist and certified HR practitioner with more than 15 years of experience. Right now, Mr. Ferdi is Manager Accounting Management in Telkom International. And of course, I'd like to thank all of the audiences who have participated in this event. I hope that this knowledge and experience sharing will be beneficial to everyone. All right, without further ado, we can finally begin our first session. Please welcome Mr. Subas Gopinathan.
Hello. Thank you, Jojonomic team and ProSpark team for putting this together. I would like to firstly say thank you for that. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Great. So, firstly, I would like to say thank you for everyone that is joining us today. I know it's a Saturday and you guys probably can be spending more time with your friends and family and loved ones. So I'm very privileged and honored that you have turned into our webinar to listen to me and Pak Verdi speak and give you some of our insights. So I'm very excited about that. If you have any additional questions, we have the Q&A and you guys can always reach out to me personally as well. So I can help you guys in any which way or format that I can. Okay. For today's presentation, we'll be talking a little bit about learning and development. I'll be sharing with you some key statistics in the market and specifically in Indonesia. What's the direction of learning and development and how you can play an active role in this, right? Let me start off by talking to you a little bit about myself and my background. I was born and raised in Singapore. I spent 20 years in Singapore. I spent another 20 years in the US. I did my bachelor's in finance and economics, as Ms. Gina had mentioned. So in this time, I was very privileged to be able to work for a lot of multinational companies and travel the globe. And having done that, I've always had a passion and love for Southeast Asia, because that's where I'm from. And I've traveled to Indonesia. I spent a lot of time in Indonesia the last couple of years and even the last 10 years. And while doing so, I think the biggest eye opener for me personally was when I was transferred as an expat back to Asia. I've always been involved in a lot of HR and human capital and transformation projects. And what I started recognizing was there was a huge gap in our human capital in this part of the world. And I started asking myself why. And I started to do a lot of research. And during that time, I found out that, hey, that there was a problem. There's a problem because I felt that, that a lot of the folks graduating from universities are not well equipped with the skill set necessary to be successful in the workforce, right? So having done that, I went and continued, and I told myself that I want to play a part in making a change in this. Hence, I started my journey in ProSpark. So today, let me start my presentation with some interesting insights for you. I hope you guys will find this exciting and can learn something from this. And as always, I'm happy to listen to everybody else as well and get your feedback. Okay. So what is learning and development? Right, learning and development is a field of work that focuses on providing and managing job-related training to employees and individuals. Right, in a nutshell, in my opinion, it is a very, very, very important function in any organization. In some organizations, it may be a standalone function. In some organizations, it may be part of HR, or in others, it might be part of training, right? It all depends how your organization is set up. And this function could be part of each of these respective functions, or it can be a standalone function by itself, okay? What do these functions do? Right? They are typically focused on developing the people capabilities, motivating and engaging employees, creating a value-based culture. And why is this important? When you don't create the right culture, it is very hard for employees that are part of your organization to understand your vision, right? A lot of them today, as most of you would have known, most of our employees today are millennials, right? Millennials, they want to know from day one how they can contribute to your vision. They want to know what's the change they can make. If they don't see your vision, if they don't see if it's a culture where they are able to develop and provide and add to your vision or your goals in the company, the probability of you having a high turnover is extremely, extremely high. Okay. Next, what are the benefits? Okay, when we're talking about benefits here, again, what are the benefits or the impact of L&D within your organization, right? First, you need to conduct training, right? L&D functions must be able to rapidly change in terms of the whatever's happening in the environment. For example, if we know there's COVID, a lot of times companies are not ready for it, right? It is a pandemic. I think a lot of industries, a lot of even governments, nobody's ready for things like this. But that learning and development function is very important because they are always the ones that we need to make sure that have the things in place to provide the programs necessary that it doesn't impact the organization employees, right? Another important, how can they access, how they can impact the business? Number two, access capability gaps and estimate value, right? A lot of times the L&D function, right, needs to understand where the gaps are in the current workforce and how they can bridge this gap with the tools that they have available. In most times you won't have these tools because it's just difficult. In Indonesia, I know a lot of companies, everybody comes to work, they're working 50 to 60 hours, right? A lot of things are manual. And when from a technology perspective, there's nothing there to help these learning and development functions. Third, designing learning journeys. The only way you can design a learning journey for your employees is you need to know what their competencies and their knowledge gaps are. Without knowing this, again, no matter what you try to do, you are not fixing the problem from the root cause. You're just putting a band-aid across the board, right? Execute and scale effectively. Again, in order for you to make an impact, you can always, you may not have a lot of companies always tell me this, I don't have the budget, I don't have the resources, but we can always start a small project, look at the impact of the project, and based on the impact, we can then slowly scale the project and go to management and explain to them the impact this will have on the overall organization, right? Last but not least is the impact, how to measure the impact. KPIs. Why do I talk about KPIs? In every organization, if your KPIs are not clearly defined to your organization and your employees, it is going to have a huge impact because no one knows exactly how they are contributing to the success of your business, right? So even we have a small startup, but a lot of times what I do is everything needs to be measured. We need to be able to measure success. We need to be able to measure efficiency. We need to be able to make sure that all employees know how they're contributing to this success, right? So these are some of the points that I just want to explain to you on how L&D functions can impact the business. In my opinion, L&D is actually the heart of the business. Next, a lot of companies today have your traditional and your e-learning options available to you. Chances are in Indonesia, a majority of organizations are still in their traditional learning, right? And again, I want to just highlight some of the key differences in terms of traditional learning and e-learning. Firstly, e-learning, traditional learning, it's expensive. I know from my personal experience being in Indonesia, a lot of time when we have training, companies will fly me to Bali or Jogja, right? And when I'm there, I know they put me up I have to fly there, I have to take a taxi to the airport, and then I'm staying in a hotel and I'm having meals, right? So it's not only is it expensive, it's time consuming. And when we're talking about results, I'm not quite sure how effective these trainings are. Let me tell you why. And again, this is just from my personal experience. When I get to these trainings, I'm so excited. Seeing all my friends or all my colleagues I haven't seen in a while, right? It's a fun place. Bali has got a great atmosphere. The beach is there, right? We start the training, maybe it's a 5 days. The first thing I'm thinking about is what I'm going to have for lunch. And then we have lunch. It's exciting. After lunch, I'm thinking about, hey, where are we going to go after for dinner? What are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Beaches we're going to visit, right? And a lot of times I will get all the content. I will remember small little bits and pieces of the training. But then when I come back to my workplace, when I try to figure out, hey, what did I learn? Or how can I utilize this? There's nothing. The infrastructure is not there for me to go back and say, hey, I remember talking to maybe Mr. X, Y, or Z, or I remember attending this training, but it's so hard because everything's a big book. I have to go back and look. So the infrastructure is clearly not there. So when you compare that to e-learning, again, the platform is always there for you, right? In Indonesia, I think it's wonderful because I spend a lot of time sitting in buses or cars in the traffic, right? And I enjoy to learn during that time, right? This is a great opportunity to help employees because a lot of employees are in the trains, in the buses, in taxis, and in their rides. This is a good way for them to spend their time educating themselves, right? So this is one of the key benefit I believe in e-learning, right? Again, it's flexible and it's also proven, right? And that it's effective for employees because now employees enjoy to have the ability and to be able to empower themselves in terms of training and not to be able to be told, hey, you need to go to this place on this time to do your training. They want to have the access all the time that's available to them. Again, based back to my point again, most companies spend 70% of their budget on accommodation, hotel, and transport, and around 30% on training, material, and content. But what's truly missing today is a lot of organizations do not know what's their return on investment on this training, right? Or when an employee has taken this specific training, are they able to measure the success or the difference they are making, the employees are making based on the training they have taken? Again, this is a huge gap today. So we're comparing organizations today that have, transformed from the traditional learning methods to e-learning, right? The statistics are very clear, right? 2.5%, 2.5 times of the companies are likely to be more successful, right? Almost three times of them are more likely to have strong leadership. 3.5, to have a caliber leadership development. So what does that mean? What is proven is today that e-learning is working. People, based on the results that we are seeing and the employees' feedback that we are getting, we know e-learning is working. How has e-learning changed the learning and development industry? Right? Firstly, 90% less energy consumed, right? 57% organizations spend less time on traditional training than they did 3 years ago. This is a very important thing, right? Almost 50% of employees say that they don't have time to learn at work. So if we know this, then why are we not doing anything to give these employees the avenue, the platform, the tools to be able to train and learn on their own, right? So these are some interesting numbers that I wanted to share with you guys. What is the future of L&D? In Indonesia, right? These numbers, please don't be afraid of these numbers that you're seeing, right? 800 million jobs, this is a global thing, right? Will be displaced by automation by 2030, okay? What does this mean for Indonesia as a whole? In the next 10 years, there will be 10 million jobs in Indonesia that they will not be able to fill because of the knowledge and a gap in skill set. What are some of the skills outlook? Analytical thinking, complex problem solving, system analysis, leadership, technology design and programming. Again, these are the outlook. These outlooks, as we all know today, in the situation that we are in, is changing very fast because of technology. Indonesia is already embarked on the 4.0 technology in terms of digital transformation. But we have to ensure that all these organizations that we are part of are also embarking on the same strategy. If not, we will get to the point where a lot of us will be sitting back and thinking, hey, how can we make a difference? And it'll be too late because we already know that the statistic is right in front of us. So all I'm trying to say is we need to make sure that we are not left behind and we are moving in the right pace that's out there today. Right? Again, we're talking about transformation in Indonesia's education through online learning, right? 69% of Indonesia is connected to the web, right? Compared to our Asian countries, right? The demand for e-learning in Indonesia. I personally know about this demand, and I'm hearing from companies every day. 3 years ago, when I was in Indonesia, and I spent a lot of time in Indonesia and also in the Philippines. In Indonesia, I know companies were not really keen on e-learning. But today, I have about 5 to 6 demos a day that I give organizations and institutions because they are all moving towards a more digital space, right? So again, here we're talking about learning management system as an e-learning tool, right? Today, there's a lot of learning management systems out there. If you go and Google learning management system, there's hundreds and hundreds of platforms. So what I want to do is explain to you some of the important things to look for in terms of a learning management system, right? We can start by asking ourselves why organization needs learning management system. As I mentioned earlier, close to 50% of the employees say they don't have time to learn at work, right? 95% of the employees have said that they'll stay in a company longer if the company invested in their learning and development. 95%. This is a very scary number. What that means is if we invest in learning and development, we know that our turnover will be significantly lower. Okay. What are some of the benefits of a learning management system? One, it can be easily accessed anytime, anywhere through an app, right? Or on the web as well, right? It allows the learning and development functions to be able to track and see the engagement of the employees, to see the development of the employees all in one place. Last but not least, it's self-hosted, right? It can be hosted in the cloud, or you can find a solution where you can easily roll out to your organizations, because today we have a lot of clients that are, as we all know, Indonesia there's thousands of islands, right? Everybody's on their cell phone. We want to make sure that the platform or the tool that you are using, right, is easily accessible to all your employees. It's easily integrated with your existing HRIS systems or your employee management systems. It needs to be easily integratable with your existing platform that you guys have. Last but not least, we already know most employees are on their platforms, on their phones and on their cell phones all the time. You need to make sure you have a tool that is mobile ready, right? They must have an app or progressive web app. Okay. Last but not least, you have to make sure that the system is easily customizable, and you have the actual reporting that you need from an HR perspective or an L&D perspective, because reporting is everything. Without the reporting, you will not know how your employees are doing, and you will not know whether they're developing the manner you want them to be. Okay. These are all the other things: role adjustment, flexible online testing and options. The most important thing, you need to make sure that the number one problem that most companies face today is, after they buy or engage with a vendor that's using an LMS vendor, the technical support is not there. It takes them a lot of time and money when they need some changes to be done. So don't be afraid to ask your vendors, hey guys, what is the cost if I need to make a change? The most important thing, guys, make sure you have to find a vendor that understands your company culture, the vision that you guys have, and somebody who wants to be there and be a partner to you in this journey, right? Again, there's a lot of vendors out there, right? If you're not buying a car, this is something that's very important, because it's not very easy to change the mindset of our employees, right? I think most things we have to understand, right? If we invest in our employees, we will be growing as one, right? The success is there for everyone to see. And I think it's important that we truly emphasize and work together in building a structure that's important for the learning and development functions, and for all our employees to grow and develop as one in Indonesia. Okay. Who's ProSpark? ProSpark is a digital learning partner, right? That's why I'm here today to talk about learning. I'm not here to talk about ProSpark. I'm here to talk about learning and development. But if you guys want to talk about any questions you have in terms of platforms, tools, how to pick the right vendor, what kind of platform your organization needs, please don't hesitate. Please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys in any way I can. All right. Again, I don't want to go into ProSpark key features again, because it's not right. But again, whatever you guys need to know in terms of learning, in terms of development, in terms of a vendor, or if you want to interested in ProSpark as well, I'll be more than happy to explain more in detail. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Subas. I find it really insightful, and actually I learned something from it too, like how e-learning gives many benefits in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on my video. And then e-learning also saves time and energy for people who are very occupied with their work. So we can conclude that digital learning platform is very beneficial to both individuals and organizations.
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Semangat pagi. Oh, ini kayak di Telkom. Pagi biar. Before I start, I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me as a speaker together with Pak Subas. And on the briefing session, I already say to Pak Subas, allow me to explain in bahasa. Hopefully that he also understand, and he said, yeah, he understand about bahasa ya Pak. Jadi mohon izin Pak. Jadi terima kasih Jojonomic sudah menginvite saya untuk menjadi speaker ya gitu ya. Kemarin waktu Mbak Dinda sama Mbak Gina dari Jojonomic kontak saya, and then she share Pak Subas presentation deck, and then I saw it ya. I told Mbak Gina and Mbak Dinda, did you still really need me as a speaker? Because Prospak has cover all end-to-end or L&D lah. Jadi masih butuh saya nggak sih sebetulnya untuk sharing. Kemudian kita suggest bahwa mungkin karena saya punya background pengalaman di human capital for more than 15 years, saya akan coba sharing untuk implementasi yang tadi sudah Pak Subas jelaskan tentang digital L&D. Jadi ketika saya dapat topik ini, digital L&D employee to fit the modern workplace, sangat relevan dengan kondisi saat ini gitu ya. Saya manggilnya Mas dan Mbak semua ya sebagai peserta. Mas dan Mbak semua di tengah COVID-19 seperti ini adalah sebuah topik yang menurut saya sangat relevan diangkat oleh Jojonomic. But before we start, allow me to introduce myself. Mungkin sudah lihat di poster, nama saya Arya Ferdi Ramadhani. Saya biasa dipanggil Ferdi. Saya seorang psikolog, Magister Psychology dari Universitas Indonesia. Kalau dari tahun lulusnya jadi kelihatan kira-kira usianya berapa. Mudah-mudahan nggak terlalu jauh beda sama teman-teman semua. Kayaknya dalam range yang sama nih pesertanya kalau tadi cek. Saya pernah bekerja di PT Astra International di Toyota, Auto 2000, di Learning Center and Department. Saya bergabung sebagai Management Trainee. Dan sekarang saya di Telekomunikasi Indonesia Internasional atau Telin. Mungkin nama Telin belum terlalu familiar di telinga Mas dan Mbak semua sebagai peserta gitu ya, karena kita bisnisnya lebih banyak B2B wholesale ke luar negeri, tapi we are the part of Telkom Indonesia. Jadi kita seperti arm bisnisnya Telkom untuk keluar negeri. Nah ini sebetulnya harus bangga, karena kalau misalkan biasanya ada perusahaan dari luar negeri yang punya subsidiaries di Indonesia, ini kebalikannya. Jadi Indonesia punya subsidiaries di 10 negara around the globe. Jadi Telin itu adalah arm bisnisnya Telkom untuk bisnis luar negeri. Saya bergabung sebagai human capital, and then saya pindah ke marketing and business intelligence. Tetap managing, masih terkait juga kepada L&D karena saya memanage untuk end-to-end accounting management. Jadi seperti sales team-nya lah. But you can call me Ferdi. Untuk bisa koneksi dengan saya nanti bisa melalui LinkedIn ya, search aja untuk nama saya. Nah tadi Subas sudah menjelaskan secara end-to-end ya tentang L&D, kemudian digital L&D seperti apa. Jadi seperti yang tadi Mbak Gina sampaikan, mungkin saya akan lebih banyak bercerita tentang implementasinya di corporate, di pengalaman saya baik di Astra maupun di tempat saya yang sekarang gitu ya, di Telin. Nah, untuk memulai mungkin saya akan mengangkat satu kondisi gitu ya yang kita semua sudah sama-sama tahu. Ini ada suatu tema yang setiap hari kita juga selalu dengar yang mengenai COVID-19. Kalau Mas dan Mbak ingat, ini kita persis setahun ya. Kita sedang ulang tahun nih sekarang. Mungkin bulan depan, sebetulnya minggu depan lah. Kita persis Maret ketika pasien nomor 1 itu terdetek di Indonesia. Jadi sudah hampir setahun kita melakukan yang namanya COVID-19 ini. As you can see ya, ini data yang saya tarik tanggal 23 Februari nih Mas dan Mbak semua. Case overview dengan total case-nya, total date dan seterusnya. Memang banyak sekali impact negatif ya yang kita dapatkan dari COVID-19 in terms of the number of deaths, number of positive cases dan sebagainya. Dan kita sepakat bahwa COVID-19 ini adalah dekat dan nyata gitu ya, karena mungkin banyak juga rekan kita, keluarga kita yang terkena efek dari COVID-19 ini. Nah, kalau kita bicara impact, tentu saja if we want to see dengan tanda petik ya positive impact gitu ya terhadap COVID-19, mungkin yang paling sering diucapkan sama orang adalah yang tadinya kita bekerja di karyawan gitu ya, sebagai karyawan kita bekerja di kantor, karena kondisi COVID-19 ini memaksa kita untuk WFA. Mungkin bagi sebagian orang itu adalah blessing in disguise, karena kalau saya pribadi misalkan, ternyata kerja di WFA itu sama efektifnya, bahkan bisa lebih efektif. Kenapa? Kalau kerja di kantor, banyak ngobrolnya, banyak ke kantinnya, dan seterusnya gitu ya. Nah, kalau kerja di di rumah, kita bisa melihat anak kita bertumbuh gitu ya, banyak interaksi dengan istri atau suami dengan anak-anak sambil bekerja. Nah, tapi ada satu hal yang lebih terkait ke digital L&D ini ya, yang saya bukan hanya sekali dua kali mendengar ini dan membaca ini, bahwa ada satu positif dengan tanda petik gitu ya, karena kita sepakat bahwa COVID-19 ini adalah suatu pandemik, positif terhadap impact-nya COVID-19. Apa itu? Kita menyebutnya bahwa accelerating Indonesian digital transformation. Mungkin bukan hanya Indonesia, saya sepakat bahwa sebetulnya dunia lah. Banyak yang mengatakan bahwa karena COVID-19 ini mempercepat proses transformasi digital 7-10 tahun loh Mas dan Mbak semua. Kalau tadinya misalkan dalam setahun itu sama dengan 7-10 tahun. Kenapa begitu? Ya karena misalkan tadinya kita tidak terbiasa dengan webinar seperti ini gitu ya. Mungkin waktu Januari Februari webinar itu bukan suatu hal yang common. Kalau sekarang kalau teman-teman Mas dan Mbak buka LinkedIn dan buka Instagram, banyak sekali kan undangan tentang webinar. Yang tadinya kita tidak terbiasa dengan terhadap yang digital, karena COVID-19 ini memaksa kita untuk lebih dekat dengan kondisi digital tadi gitu ya. Karena memang kita belum diperbolehkan untuk berinteraksi seperti layaknya sebelum COVID-19. So, ini salah satu punchline saya gitu ya, karena nanti akan terkait mengapa COVID-19 ini sedikit banyak berimpact terhadap si digital L&D tadi. Di tempat saya sendiri di Telkom udah selalu bicara mengenai industri 4.0 lah kalau teman-teman tahu. Tapi di sini bukan topik tentang industri 4.0 ya, tapi intinya bagaimana suatu industri itu sudah berevolusi yang tadinya mungkin hanya menggunakan computerized dan internet, sekarang ada IoT, ada cloud dan sebagainya. Kita sudah banyak bicara ke sana lah Telkom. Dengan adanya COVID-19 ini semakin mempercepat itu. Sebagai buktinya adalah gini, di tempat saya di Telkom kita punya beberapa apps digital yang kita menyebutnya digitize employee activities. Kita punya Cognitium, itu isinya video learning ya. And then kita punya Diarium. Diarium itu sebetulnya kontennya kayak Facebook Telkom lah, di mana kita bisa interaksi antar karyawan, kita bisa absensi di sana, kita bisa cek perjalanan dinas kita dan seterusnya. Kita juga punya Ingenium untuk checking about our career, assessment result, recruitment result dan seterusnya ada di situ. Dan yang tadi Pak Subas sempat jelaskan juga, di Telkom juga punya yang namanya digital learning, ya seperti e-learning seterusnya lah. Nah, tapi kenapa saya ngangkat ini nih Mas dan Mbak semua? Karena sebetulnya semua tools ini tuh sudah ada dari dulu. Sudah ada dari saya bergabung tahun 2016, tetapi optimalisasinya, utilisasinya yang menurut saya tidak terlalu digunakan gitu. Karena memang mungkin orang masih berpikir ini buat apa gitu kan? Karena kita masih offline, kita masih ketemuan dan seterusnya. Contoh yang paling mudah adalah Diarium. Saya kembali ke sini ya. Diarium ini udah dari tahun 2017-18 lah sudah ada lah untuk beberapa versinya. Tapi ya udah sekedar hanya diinstal aja. Mungkin sebagian orang, saya yakin ada orang-orang yang tetap menggunakan Diarium ini dengan efektif. Tapi mungkin kalau saya checking di teman-teman saya itu nggak semuanya menggunakan itu. And you know what? Since COVID-19, mau nggak mau kita harus buka Diarium. Kenapa? Karena kita absensi menggunakan di sana, kemudian kita interaksi juga di sana dan seterusnya. Dan begitu juga dengan e-learning tadi. E-learning yang tadi ya kita punya opsi nih teman-teman untuk offline learning gitu ya, kita training secara tatap muka karena orang Indonesia kan katanya budaya timur ya. Katanya kalau nggak ngariung tuh nggak asik gitu ya, nggak mantep gitu ya. Jadi kita dengan tanda petik dipaksa untuk mulai terbiasa menggunakan e-learning, self learning tadi gitu ya, dengan ditambah seperti ini dengan bantuan dengan virtual Zoom tadi. Sehingga yang tadi saya sampaikan di awal bahwa kondisi COVID-19 ini di luar semua hal negatif yang memang berimpact terhadap kita, ada satu hal yang ternyata berimpact in terms of digital karena dia mengaccelerate digital transformations. Nah, tapi pertanyaannya, Mas Ferdi, apakah kemudian pandemik ini saja yang akhirnya berimpact terhadap keberhasilan implementasi digital L&D di korporasi gitu? Wah, tidak secepat itu, Ferguson. Karena ternyata sebenarnya kalau kita bicara mengenai L&D strategi ini, saya adaptasi dari Bersin and Associate yang dipakai di Telin ya. Jadi bukan murni Bersin Associate, tapi kami mengadaptasi. Kalau dan Mas Mbak semua adalah seorang practitioner juga seperti saya, atau mungkin seorang konsultan, mungkin sedikit banyak sepakat dengan L&D strategi yang saya tampilkan ini gitu ya, bahwa untuk bisa memastikan suatu program strategi learning and development itu bisa berhasil di korporasi, maka membutuhkan framework ini gitu, tidak bisa berdiri secara terpisah-terpisah. Saya akan jelaskan secara singkat ya, karena waktunya juga terbatas. Jadi nomor satu yang kalau Anda lihat di sebelah kiri yang merah itu, ini pasti sepakat nih semua practitioner, bahwa L&D strategi itu nggak bisa berhasil kalau nggak ada yang namanya executive sponsorship lah, tidak ada dukungan dari atasan, top management lah. Kalau top manajemennya punya suatu komitmen bareng-bareng bahwa, ayo lihat nih sekarang COVID-19, tapi L&D harus tetap jalan, maka oke, semuanya harus mulai menggunakan digital itu. Nah, maka mungkin tidak akan bisa jalan kalau memang top management tidak berbicara seperti itu. Jadi sebaik apapun infrastruktur kita, sehebat apapun investasi yang kita lakukan, kalau dari atasnya itu tidak mendukung, dengan pengalaman saya ya, mungkin nanti Mas Mbak bisa sharing ya di sesi pertanyaan, tidak akan berjalan dengan efektif lah. So we have to get the top management commitment to ensure that our L&D strategy is running well. Nah, di luar itu bahwa satu lagi, ketika kita ingin menjalankan L&D juga harus align dengan visi misi perusahaan untuk memastikan bahwa memang L&D yang dibuat itu adalah sesuai dengan kondisi terkini. And then kalau teman-teman lihat ke bawah lagi, itu ada kurikulum desainnya, kemudian ada yang baik mandatori maupun komplementori untuk cara delivernya, dan paling bawah lagi kalau teman-teman lihat, ini karena saya mau satu poin yang saya angkat adalah tentang corporate culture itu sendiri gitu ya. Jadi kalau kita bicara L&D strategi, in this case ya, karena kita sedang mengangkat digital L&D, itu tidak cukup. Infrastruktur penting, saya sangat sepakat yang tadi Pak Subas sampaikan. Infrastruktur is very important things, yes I agree. Tapi ada ada poin-poin lain yang menurut saya itu bisa fit di modern workplace itu, bahwa top management memang mempunyai concern yang sama. Hey, ini COVID-19, kita tidak bisa nih yang namanya bertemu dengan muka, tapi LND kan tetap harus jalan. And I fully agree with Subas that LND is like one of the most important things dalam menjalankan organisasi. I fully agree. Karena saya sebagai human capital expertise, saya selalu melihat bahwa people itu as an asset. People itu sebagai capital, not cost. Nah, makanya sekarang kan dibahas sebagai namanya human capital ya, human capital, business partner, dan seterusnya. Nah, kembali ke yang tadi, jadi untuk bisa dari pengalaman saya untuk mengimplementasikan digital L&D, maka top management harus kita pegang, Pak, ini kita nggak bisa lagi dalam kondisi yang offline, we need full online, gitu ya, dan juga memastikan bahwa corporate culture kita juga bicara ke sana. Saya akan bahas nanti corporate culture di bagian belakang, gitu ya. Nah, masuk terkait ke implementasinya, teman-teman. Jadi, Mas dan Mbak semua, beberapa orang selalu meng-compare lah untuk classroom training dan online training. You can see the comparison between classroom and online. In classroom, trainer is the key, and then you can do the group learning, fixed time and place, 2-3 days training, and then also cost itu juga pasti impact. Dibandingkan dengan online yang memang lebih banyak butuh kemandirian dari kita untuk bisa melaksanakan itu, gitu ya. Tapi di kelebihannya dari online adalah you can learn anywhere, anytime. And then in terms of cost, ini memang sangat berasa sekali gitu ya. In terms of cost itu akan sangat menurun. Sebagai contohnya misalkan karena saya memanaging sales team di around the globe termasuk USA, Australia, dulu saya nggak bisa nginvite mereka ke Indonesia karena di mindset kita adalah apa? Di mindset kita adalah kita harus mengundang mereka karena harus offline training kan ya. Tapi sekarang karena kita dipaksa regarding di COVID-19, kita ngadakan virtual, ternyata mereka malah bisa terlibat gitu karena ya mereka tidak perlu ada perjalanan dinas dan seterusnya. Nah, yang mau saya sampaikan di sini Mas dan Mbak semua, untuk digital L&D I fully agree again with Subas about the e-learning and terms and yang tadi sudah dijelaskan. Namun saya sebagai practitioner yang saya lebih sering lakukan sebetulnya di korporasi adalah blended learning. Mungkin pernah dengar ya, kalau Mas dan Mbak suka googling atau LinkedIn gitu ya, banyak sekali yang membahas tentang ini, bagaimana kita memblended learning. Jadi classroom training, online training in the terms of digital workplace itu bukan hal yang terpisah, tapi kita memblended itu menjadi satu kesatuan gitu. Jadi ada face-to-face trainingnya, ada virtual classrooms-nya, ada webinars-nya, ada e-learning-nya, menggunakan LMS-nya juga, ada activity yang kita harus bertemu fisik gitu ya, yang kemudian nanti at the end ada one-on-one coaching-nya dan at the end akan dievaluasi. Ini bisa dilakukan before COVID-19 gitu. Jadi bagaimana digital ini kalau saya di implementasi ya tidak melihat sebagai hal yang terpisah. Oke, yang satu adalah kita classroom training, yang satu online training, nggak begitu. Tapi bagaimana kita bisa mengkolaborasi ini in digital modern workplace, itu yang saya lihat gitu ya. Nah, ini saya mau sharing sebetulnya apa yang saya lakukan ya, Mas dan Mbak semua. Yang sebelah kiri yang Anda lihat itu adalah blended learning. Jadi saya selalu menggunakan blended learning since the first time I joined Tallinn. Saya menyebutnya professional competency based training. As you can see, mungkin kalau terlalu kecil gitu ya, mohon maaf karena saya inginnya membuatnya pack saja, itu tidak terlalu banyak. As you can see, I done a pre-in class and then 3 days in class itu offline, ada post-nya, kemudian kalau Mas dan Mbak lihat itu di sebelah kanan adalah semua apps digital yang kami gunakan untuk masuk ke dalam si program itu, si blended itu. Nah, di bawahnya kalau Anda lihat itu di sebelah kiri ada barcode, jadi mulai dari absennya pakai barcode, kemudian temanya pun tentang digital, tapi di bawahnya juga ada activity, di mana ini waktu itu saya di learning area di Sleepy, saya bikin seperti Amazing Race di Central Park, tapi mereka harus menggunakan apps. Jadi saya blended learning gitu. Jadi kita punya produk Link Aja dari Telkom, kalau Mas Naba pasti sangat familiar dengan Link Aja ya, is like OVO, like GoPay gitu ya, Link Aja adalah bagian dari produk Telkom gitu. Nah, jadi kita melakukan blended learning ini. Nah, kebetulan waktu itu saya juga mengangkat tentang digital leadership gitu ya, tentang digital capability. Nah, and then ketika COVID-19 masuk, ya kan, saya harus memutar otak saya gimana caranya agar si digital L&D itu tetap berjalan. Karena Telkom sendiri, Mas dan Mbak semua sekarang sudah mencanangkan untuk digital transformations, because our main legacy itu sebetulnya voice. Voice itu apa ya? Voice itu kayak kalau Mas dan Mbak telepon gitu ya, baik ke domestik maupun ke luar negeri, sekarang decrease ya, sekarang menurun gitu ya. Mungkin udah nggak, apalagi para milenial, mungkin udah nggak pernah lagi telepon voice ya, pasti pakai WhatsApp call gitu ya, pakai Zoom. dan seterusnya. Jadi sudah mulai decrease. Oleh karena itu maka Telkom bertransformasi kan, transformasi dengan produk-produk digital ya kan, dan itu sudah bahkan sebelum COVID-19, dengan adanya COVID-19 ini semakin menuju ke sana. Nah, kembali lagi ke sini, ketika kasus COVID-19, saya tetap harus dipaksa karena sekarang saya managing sales team, saya tetap dipaksa untuk membuat suatu development program. Gimana caranya? Sama sih seperti yang dilakukan di professional competency based training. The difference is the offline aku ganti jadi online. Saya ganti jadi online dengan menggunakan Zoom. Saya menggunakan Zoom, saya menggunakan untuk untuk membantu mereka self learning, saya pakai knowledge management, saya menyimpan semua materi di Google Drive, saya memberikan pretest melalui G-Form. Kemudian untuk check-in performance mereka, saya menggunakan Salesforce. Salesforce itu adalah salah satu platform untuk bisa managing sales activity gitu ya. Jadi keduanya ini Mas dan Mbak, keduanya ini before COVID-19 dan after COVID-19. Yang satu blended learning, yang satu online learning. So I don't want to compare sebenarnya. Jadi ini tergantung bagaimana kreativitas kita sebagai AI practitioner ketika diketemukan satu kondisi gitu ya. Dan digital ini sangat membantu. Yang tadi Subas jelaskan itu sangat membantu dengan COVID-19 ini. Can you imagine kalau kita tidak punya teknologi internet, teknologi digital, and then the COVID-19 came, gimana caranya coba? Kita mungkin bisa melalui telepon, atau zaman dulu yang orang zaman dulu pakai pager gitu ya. Nah, jadi bukan bersyukur ya, maksudnya COVID-19 hadir ketika digital itu sudah ada. Sebelum COVID-19, digital itu sudah ada juga. Tapi mungkin orang tidak aware untuk bisa menggunakan itu. Nah, kembali yang kayak tadi, Mas dan Mbak semua, saya tidak ingin meng-compare antara blended learning dan online training. Karena menurut saya, kedua ini mempunyai sama-sama keunggulannya. Tapi yang saya mau sharing nih, Mbak, di Mas dan Mbak di IM Academy, kalau blended learning, karena saya juga seorang trainer, ketika saya sedang ngajar, you can see the audience ya, you can see the gesture, the facial expression, apakah mereka involve atau tidak. Nah, kalau di virtual ini mungkin semua udah pernah ngalamin ya. Kita sudah bilang sih, hey, it's mandatory turn on your camera. Oke, mereka turn on kameranya ya. Tapi ternyata beberapa memang namanya AM ya, ada juga yang bandel-bandel. Mereka pasang background with their face, and then they capture, and then they put it as a background. Jadi kayak mereka tuh sedang kayak diem gini. Padahal itu sebetulnya adalah foto gitu ya. Jadi kalau kata trainer yang our trainer is also came from Singapore and Malaysia, Subas, he said to me that Ferdi, they attend, they hear, but I don't think they are really here. Paham ya? Mereka di sini ada orang ini kayak sekarang nih kayak webinar teman-teman, aku lihat ada Mas dan Mbak ada sekitar 60-an ya. Tapi apakah you are really here gitu yang kita nggak tahu kan. Jadi kehadiran orang itu yang sebetulnya not only physical gitu ya, tapi juga secara hati, secara pikiran memang dia berada di sana gitu. Itu sebetulnya challenge di tengah digital learning ini. Terus bagaimana caranya sebetulnya? Capek Mas dan Mbak jadi seorang SR kalau kita ngingetin, ayo training, ayo ini penting buat Anda. Karena jadinya kita apa? Jadi ngejar-ngejar mereka kan, karena mereka nggak merasa butuh. Jadi dari pembelajaran itu tadi juga saya sharing sama Subhas tentang ini. One of the most important thing is mindset sih kalau menurut saya in digital learning ya. Kalau Anda bicaranya digital learning development in the workplace, in the modern workplace, maka make sure your people have the mindset. But not only mindset. What I call as a mindset here is growth mindset. Growth mindset itu failure is an opportunity to grow. I can learn to do anything I want. Challenge help me to grow. Jadi people see if mereka diundang gitu ya untuk program-program learning and development itu mereka tidak perlu diujuk-ujuk itu apa ya bahasa Inggrisnya dipush oleh seorang yang mengadakan because they feel they need it gitu. Oh saya memang butuh ini. Nah melalui proses digital. Before COVID itu juga udah susah, apalagi tambah COVID ini gitu kan orang benar-benar harus secara mandiri untuk mempelajari materi-materi yang diberikan. Example yang paling gampang sebetulnya if you ever watch the Last Dance yang Michael Jordan gitu ya, itu benar-benar menunjukkan growth mindset sih. Bagaimana dia bisa meraih 6 rings ya kalau nggak salah, and then dia sempat gagal, sempat ada case waktu itu ayahnya kan tewas dan seterusnya, tapi dia bisa bangkit dan meraih kejuaraan lagi. That's growth mindset gitu. Jadi in digital R&D in the modern workplace, I think not only infrastructure, not only the top management commitment, jadi saya tambahkan adalah salah satunya the mindset itself in the employee. So if you're working as a human capital, especially in the learning development area, and then you're working in the organization where the people have the growth mindset, hidup Anda akan jauh lebih mudah. Your life will more easy karena ya Anda tinggal menyiapkan segala infrastrukturnya. Karena employee Anda juga sudah berpikir bahwa okay, I need this. Nah, saya akan share video sedikit tentang untuk lebih memahami apa itu growth mindset, karena ini adalah juga salah satu punchline saya gitu ya, salah satu key takeaway saya untuk di sesi ini.
Researcher and professor Carol Dweck uses the term mindset to describe the way people think about ability and talent. Dweck delineates between two different mindsets that exist on a continuum. The first is the fixed mindset, which suggests that your abilities are innate and unchangeable. The second is a growth mindset, which views it as something you can improve through practice. In a fixed mindset, you view failure as permanent, but with a growth mindset, you see failure as a chance to learn and even pivot. Those with a fixed mindset are more likely to view critical feedback as a personal attack, while those with a growth mindset will see it as a chance to improve, where they can develop new systems. With a fixed mindset, you're more likely to choose easier tasks and put in minimal effort. After all, if talent is fixed, why bother improving? Why even try? But with a growth mindset, you're more likely to embrace challenging tasks and work hard to improve. Those with a fixed mindset are likely to give up when they face an obstacle. Meanwhile, those with a growth mindset will view obstacles as a chance to experiment and solve problems. In a fixed mindset, the focus is on measurable accomplishments. But with a growth mindset, the focus is more on a journey of continual improvement. With a fixed mindset, you're less likely to take creative risks. But with a growth mindset, creative risks are simply a way to innovate and improve. Ultimately, your mindset influences everything from creative risk-taking to how you view feedback to whether or not you finish difficult tasks. And in the end, it's one of the greatest factors in determining whether or not you grow and improve in your abilities.
Oke, dengan Anda semua hadir di sini, saya sepakat bahwa Anda semua adalah orang-orang yang memiliki growth mindset ya. Ini Saturday, like Subas says, Saturday, most of the people maybe spending time with their family and the beloved one, but you are here to hear us about sharing about LND ini gitu ya. Jadi growth mindset menjadi poin yang penting lah menurut saya, bagaimana keberhasilan digital LND itu diimplementasikan di korporasi. Sebelum sesi ini tadi juga sempat sharing sama Subas gitu ya. He share about one company yang berinvestasi terhadap produk-produk teknologi ya in terms of L&D, tapi ya sudah gitu. Ya kita sudah investasi and then ujungnya yang pakai siapa? People gitu kan. Apakah ini mau digunakan atau tidak? Jadi sebenarnya infrastruktur itu adalah one thing, but to make people use it is another thing. Jadi bagaimana kita menumbuhkan growth mindset itu menjadi poin yang juga sangat penting gitu ya. And then ini yang mungkin terakhir ya. Jadi last but not least adalah culture itu sendiri, corporate culture. Gampangnya corporate culture apa sih? The way we do things around here kan. Kalau kita punya corporate culture ini, maka ya mungkin akan semakin mudah bagi kita karena semua orang bicara bahasa yang sama. Yang mau saya sharing di sini adalah culture-nya Telkom ya, karena kita sekarang punya culture yang sama semua BUMN gitu ya. Dari kementerian juga sudah memastikan bahwa semua BUMN punya satu culture yang sama, tapi boleh ada semacam kayak value turunannya lah. Nah, untuk Telkom itu menggunakan namanya coach ya. Jadi ini yang lebih terkait ke digital culture-nya, customer centricity, open mind, data drivenness, agile, dan continuous improvement. Ini kata-kata yang mungkin Mas dan Bas sering mendengar terkait ke digital mindset. Bagaimana kita bisa agile, disruptive, and then speak by data, open minded, dan terus melakukan yang namanya inovasi. Nah, ketika semua orang sudah bicara bahasa yang sama, maka infrastruktur itu akan menjadi lebih kuat gitu. Akan menjadi lebih kuat untuk kita gunakan, untuk kita optimalkan. Mulai dari bahasa sederhananya deh, kalau misalkan culture kan artefaknya gitu ya. Kemudian dalam membuka meeting kita selalu bicara ini, di email juga selalu diulang-ulang, ada cara aktivasinya dan seterusnya. Sehingga orang mulai akan terinternalisasi, okay, now we are living in a digital era, so we have to adapt. Bagaimana caranya? Salah satunya adalah dengan L&D tadi. Oh, oke, berarti selama ini ada ya diarium. Oh, ada yang namanya e-learning itu ya. Oke, gue mau pakai nih. Kenapa? Karena ya culture bicara seperti itu, top management juga sudah bicara seperti itu. Kita punya growth mindset tadi, infrastrukturnya sudah ada. Jadi semua itu berkolaborasi lah kalau saya lihat, saling menambahkan. So at the end of my slide, I just want to share about the three key takeaways that you can get ya, mudah-mudahan ya. Number one is, of course, COVID-19 gives a big impact on accelerating digital transformation, including dalam digital L&D itu yang tadi saya sudah sebutkan. Nomor 2, saya tadi juga sempat bahas mengenai the importance of growth mindset, bagaimana pentingnya ini untuk bisa memastikan strategi digital L&D bisa berjalan. And the last but not least, ini saya coba men-summary 5 main factors ya to ensure the effectiveness of digital L&D. The culture itself, the mindset, top management support, the policy jangan lupa, and also the infrastructure. Kalau 5 semua ini bisa berkolaborasi dengan sangat baik, maka digital L&D bisa kita sangat terapkan gitu ya di modern workplace di masa sekarang. Sisanya nanti mungkin kita bisa lakukan di tanya jawab. Mungkin that's all from me, Mbak Gina. Thank you so much for the opportunity ya. Back to you, Mbak.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Mas Ferdi. Wah, bagus banget tuh materinya. So we just learned that digital learning platform actually go way back, but it's lacking optimization. So, and additionally, it's really important to align our L&D strategy with our corporate values and culture too. And the most important thing for learning and development is if you want to bring it into modern workplace, you have to have a growth mindset, both for the management and also for the employees. Seperti itu. Nah, baik, kita lanjut ke Q&A session. Wah, ini udah ada banyak pertanyaan nih di sini. Oke, first question dari Mas Fahrul Rozi. Apakah kemampuan belajar perlu dilakukan pengukuran dalam proses rekrutmen dan adakah alat tes yang mampu mengukur kemampuan belajar seseorang? Oke, mungkin bisa kita tanyakan kepada Mas Ferdi ya. Silakan Mas Ferdi.
Oke, thank you so much Mas Fahrul Rozi ya. Tadi juga sudah sempat saya cek. Kalau untuk dari implementasi sebetulnya mungkin nggak spesifik tentang kemampuan belajar ya. Kalau kita bicara mengenai proses rekrutmen, maka ada yang namanya tes personality dan tes intelijensi. Sebenarnya dari tes intelijensi itu dan khususnya tes intelijensi ya Mas Fahrul Rozi itu bisa mencek untuk daya tangkap seseorang sebenarnya, baik itu numerik maupun verbal, kemampuan mengingat, kemampuan seperti aritmatika dan seterusnya. Kalau kita bisa mencapai titik tertentu yang sudah ada normanya di korporasi, itu bisa menggambarkan bahwa Anda memiliki kemampuan daya tangkap dulu ya dari intelijensi. Karena menurut saya kemampuan belajar itu ada 2 hal sih. Pertama intelijensinya sendiri sama kemauan dia itu. Nah, kemauan itu biasanya yang di-checking dari interview kompetensi dan juga tadi tes personality. Jadi nggak spesifik sebetulnya karena background saya juga dari psikologi ya. Ada sebetulnya alat ukur untuk lihat keberhasilan belajar, itu ada untuk usia belajar gitu ya. Tapi kalau kita bicara konteks korporasi, psikotes akan menggambarkan keseluruhan kemampuan belajar tadi.
Mari kita lanjut ke pertanyaan berikutnya. Dari Mas Sinar Hadiwijaya. Jika membahas tentang L&D, maka tidak jauh dengan yang disebut dengan komunikasi 2 arah dan hasil. Bagaimana caranya untuk mengetahui end result-nya? Saya ambil contoh untuk mengetahui proses perkembangan pembelajaran sebagai pengambilan keputusan selanjutnya. Okay. Maybe I can assign this question to Mr. Subas. So,
Sure.
how do you know the end result of L&D?
Very good question. There's always a starting point and the ending point. So let me maybe take the question back and help understand the starting point first, right? The starting point is to understand where the skill gaps are and the competency gaps are, because without knowing what the gaps are, you may be providing content or training to your employees without truly understanding what is their gap. So step number 1, always ensure that you know what is your employees' skill gap, competency gap, knowledge gap. Then make sure you have the content that you have. You can put it on any platform in any way you want to provide them the training necessary to bridge the gap. Third but not least, you can have something called a performance management system, right? And a performance management system is not always something you need in terms of a technology, but the managers, the supervisors, they can see on a day-to-day if the employees are improving based on the content or based on the training that they've taken. And then the most important thing is feedback. We should have a very good feedback session to the employees, because if the employees don't get this feedback, they wouldn't know if they're doing something wrong. So it's very important that no matter how busy we are, that this process is in place. And for me, I think my recommendation is, there's always, it's never too late to do it if you don't have it. But the most important thing is you want to see the results based on the day-to-day job that they are doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Subas. I hope that answered Mr. Sinar Hadiwijaya's question. Moving on to the next question is from Mbak Riza Putri Elburdah. Halo, saya Riza, setuju banget digital learning itu ujung tombak banget saat ini. Lalu bagaimana pengaruh rekam jejak digital terhadap karir seseorang di masa depan? Terima kasih. Wah, ini kayaknya pertanyaannya cocok ditanyakan untuk Mas Ferdi yang sudah lama ada di bidang HR nih.
Ya, kalau I have to be honest ya, jejak digital itu very impact menurut saya. Jadi in the now di digital era, recruiter itu sekarang menggunakan cara-cara digital juga gitu. Jangan kira bahwa human capital tidak bertransform, we are also transform kan. Jadi once there's person that apply in our job ya, pertama yang kita lakukan tentu pasti cek nama mereka lah, paling gampang. Nanti kan keluar Instagramnya, LinkedIn-nya dan seterusnya gitu kan. Jadi tapi gini Mbak, tadi Mbak Risa ya namanya yang nanya ya. As long as you never do like hate speech in dalam Instagram ataupun dalam sosial media Anda or doing something fraud ya, don't worry lah sebenarnya. Tapi hati-hati karena kadang netizen Indonesia itu kan dibilang netizen paling jahat ya kalau nggak salah kemarin terakhir kan ya, keluar ada paling galak, paling ganas gitu ya, karena sesimpel kita jempol kita ini hati-hati sekali loh, karena itu bisa mempengaruhi bagaimana nanti karir Anda ke depan. Karena jejak digital di masa lalu itu ternyata bisa menjadi salah satu hal yang mempertimbangkan orang untuk dia direkrut atau tidak. Ini singkat, saya kasih satu contoh. Saya pernah menerima seseorang di perusahaan saya lah, salah satu dari perusahaan tadi saya share gitu kan ya. Dia diterima. Akhirnya jadi masalah. Kenapa? Karena ketika kita cek jejak digitalnya, after dia join, dia pernah melakukan penipuan online, penipuan jualan online. Jadi ada orang sudah beli, and then dia tidak mengirimkan barangnya, orang itu bikin tulisan di blog, and then go viral gitu ya. Dan itu ternyata nggak kedetek. Banyak yang komplain ke saya, Mas Ferdi kenapa orang kayak gini kok bisa diterima gitu ya. Jadi itu menjadi learning point juga buat saya. So for everyone here, I have to say that please use your social media wisely lah, because you never know lah akan impact kemana. Kalau misalkan pertanyaan apakah impact atau tidak, saya dengan tegas menjawab ya itu akan impact. Depends seberapa digital human capital dari korporasi yang sedang Anda apply. Ini konteksnya berarti ini ya, rekrutasi ya, Mbak Gini ya.
Iya, sepertinya begitu sih, Mas.
Ya, mungkin itu sih kalau dari saya, karena saya punya pengalaman pribadi terhadap hal itu, it's very very impactful lah. Kita pernah meng-cut seseorang kalau pas kita cek, aduh sosial medianya tuh maaf ya, maksudnya dia benar-benar fanatik ke dalam sesuatu hal gitu, dan dia karena kan udah jadi karyawan, maka Mas dan Mbak semua akan menjadi brandnya perusahaan loh. Apalagi kalau di LinkedIn-nya sudah ada tulisan dia kerja di mana.
Oke, kita lanjut ke pertanyaan berikutnya. Ini ada yang menarik nih dari Mas Bintang Mahaputra. Halo, saya Bintang Mahaputra. Saya baru membuat sebuah firma hukum bersama partner saya. Saya sepakat dengan pemateri bahwa mindset is the key. Tapi saya rasa lebih tepatnya kepada curiosity, potensi belajar dan memahami hal baru berangkat dari rasa ingin tahu. But then, based on your experience, how to build it? Okay, I would like to ask this question to Mr. Subas. So, Mr. Subas, Mr. Bintang Mahaputra just made a law firm with his partners, and he said that he agrees that mindset is really the key, but also curiosity is also one of the keys too. How do you build curiosity in learning?
Okay, that's a very good one. So when we talk about curiosity, I think the most important thing, I think that the vision and the objective is very important from day one. If the vision and objective is not clearly stated, then I think curiosity will be to create curiosity. There's always going to be there, because the problem is people don't know what they are working towards, what they're trying to achieve, what's the goal they're trying to get to, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a law firm, it doesn't matter if it's manufacturing, doesn't matter if it's a ride hailing. From day one, I think it's very important to set the standard very high, to explain. I think one of the things that a lot of organizations do is we spend a lot of time bringing people in, but we don't spend enough time explaining to people What is the vision? What is the strategy? How are you going to play a part in that? That is truly missing today. If you go to 9 out of 10 organizations in Indonesia, you ask any employee, how are you or your role affecting this? They cannot tell you, right? So I think it's very important from day one, right, to make sure that the vision, the strategy is set, the expected KPIs that I mentioned about earlier is set, and then those kind of things all will tie up so that even if there's curiosity, and we cannot help it. We are all human beings. We all always have curiosity no matter what happens, right? But at least 80% of that of what we have, the doubt is clear. We know exactly what we're trying to execute towards, and then we can work closely together, right? I always try to promote a culture of if you are in doubt, ask, right? Because it's very important that that we don't forget, and that yes, we all, it's very important for a company to be successful, to be able to grow your revenue, to grow your top line. But we cannot also forget the fundamentals. The success of this is upon the people that we have today. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subas. Okay, let's see. We still have so many questions more, and then this one dari Mbak Vika Indira Asri. Selamat siang, izin bertanya. Nomor 1, L&D seperti apa yang sesuai jika terdapat peralihan dari mahasiswa menjadi new employee? Lalu kedua, bagaimana pengaplikasian untuk L&D untuk new employee agar dapat adapt secara cepat dan tepat? Oke, Mas Ferdi mungkin ingin menjawab pertanyaan ini nggak?
Ya, thank you Mbak Gin. Thank you Mbak Vika ya. Mbak Vika pertanyaannya ya dari Alien. Ini menarik sekali. Jadi kalau kami di korporasi menyebutnya onboarding program sebenarnya. Onboarding program itu pun juga bisa blended learning antara yang tadi sudah explain gitu ya, e-learning dan seterusnya digital, kemudian di compare lagi dengan yang tradisional gitu ya, bagaimana kita bisa face to face dan seterusnya. Yang sesuai itu yang tadi saya bilang, onboarding itu kita mulai dari tahapan dulu ya, mulai dari awareness, knowledge sampai behavior. Jadi kalau seorang karyawan baru bergabung dengan korporasi, yang kita ingin mereka tahu awal kan pasti tentang company profile kita, product and services kita, how do we do our job gitu kan, how do we do our business dan seterusnya. Itu kita semua akan letakkan di satu storage gitu ya, di mana bahkan sebelum mereka bergabung, teman-teman dari mahasiswa jadi new employee bisa mempelajari. Kemudian ketika mereka sudah bergabung karena ada masa probation selama 3 bulan, kita ada yang namanya online training. Kalau sekarang online training ya, kalau dulu kita benar-benar offline training. Dan yang lebih penting lagi, kalau tadi pertanyaan nomor 2-nya aplikasikan L&D untuk new employee agar dapat adapt secara cepat dan tepat. Ini yang poin pentingnya sebetulnya, body partner. Jadi kita menggabungkan semua tahapan tadi. Awareness knowledge-nya kita dapat dari yang digital tadi, e-learning, kemudian mereka mempelajari semua terkait dengan keperusahaan. Tapi untuk bisa perform ya beda, karena kalau tadi knowledge dan aware. Kalau untuk perform, maka 2 hal yang kita berikan. Pengalaman saya baik di Astra maupun di Telkom sekarang. Yang body partner tadi selama 3 bulan, new employee tadi harus dikasih satu project, Mbak Gin. Mbak Vika ya, satu project yang judulnya adalah mengimprove tempat unit Anda sehingga bisa berimpact terhadap bisnis. Jadi mereka sambil mereka beradaptasi, mereka punya body partner tempat mereka bertanya, baik dari HC maupun atasan mereka langsung, mereka juga langsung on the job untuk melakukan suatu project yang sudah kita assign. Jadi akhirnya kembali ke tadi sih Mbak Gina, Mbak Vika ya, blended learning. Digital learning-nya tetap kita gunakan untuk mereka knowledge gitu ya, untuk mereka dapat ilmunya, awareness-nya. Tapi kalau kita udah bicaranya adalah behavior, kita bicara sudah mengenai skill, maka kita tambahkan dengan body partner dan yang project tadi. Terus kemudian dengan virtual gini gimana Mas Ferdi? Oh, tetap bisa dilakukan. Kalau dulu bedanya body partnernya ketemu, mereka ngobrol di kantin, di kafe, di Starbucks. Sekarang by virtual. Kita ketemukan dengan Zoom, di mana mereka tetap bisa berdiskusi satu sama lain. Jadi untuk mensummary, Mbak Vika, key takeaways-nya adalah kita menyebutnya sebagai onboarding program. Selama 3 bulan biasanya semua perusahaan itu pasti punya dengan memblend antara online dan offline. If we are talking about adaptasi, terutama dalam performance, maka kita menggunakan yang tadi, body partner dan juga project base. Rasanya nanti semua rata-rata perusahaan pasti punya model yang seperti itu sih. Mudah-mudahan menjawab Mbak Vika. Kalau kurang menjawab, silakan add linkin saya promosi. Salah. Thank you, Mbak Gin.
Makasih banyak Mas Ferdi. Jadi itu ya blended learning sebagai kunci untuk new employee. Oke, next question dari Mas Agung Saputro. Apakah online learning bisa secara penuh menggantikan offline learning? Lalu apakah materi yang disampaikan secara online dapat tersampaikan dengan maksimal kepada resipien? Gimana triknya supaya materi tersebut bisa maksimal disampaikan? Okay, I would like to ask the question to Mr. Subas. So Mr. Agung asked, can online learning completely replace offline learning? And also, by using online learning, is it guaranteed that the material will be received completely to the recipients? And how is there any tips to for the material to be able to communicated well to the recipients?
Okay, so thank you for the question. Again, this is my personal opinion, okay? Today, everywhere I go in Indonesia, anywhere, in the mall, in the street, in the bus, anywhere I go, every time I see most of the people are doing this. Everywhere you go, most of the time people are spending, if you really went and check the statistics, which I cannot find, everybody is already almost glued to their phone, right? So I believe that the nice thing about traditional learning is the face-to-face interaction. Okay, in my generation, we enjoy that. We love seeing everybody. We love being in a room. We love talking to people. We love going down and talking to people. But now we're becoming to a society and a culture where everything is all done on the phone, right? So I think it is not one way is better than the other way. I will not argue that, but I would say we need to keep up in terms of is what our majority of our users doing today. How do we keep up with them, right? If you look at today, most of the kids, right, or even for people who have kids, what do the kids do? A lot of them are playing computer games. In my time when I was growing up, all I wanted to do is go out and play football with my friends. I don't like to be sitting around the phone, but times have changed. So I think the human interaction part, that's a big part of traditional training that will be missed. But that is why if you guys get into a situation where you're looking for a platform, make sure you have like the virtual learning capability like what we're doing right now, because then at least we can still see each other, we can see how people are interacting and stuff. As far as content goes, it is very important to understand something. Most millennials have a 60 to 90-second attention span. What does that mean? That means whenever we want to do training, we have to make sure the content come in small bites. It is between 3 to 5 minutes. We are talking about the concept of micro learning now. Why is that very important? Because when we put a content for 30 minutes long, 15 minutes long, even if we go to a classroom training, after 10 minutes, it's very hard for us to pay attention because we are all thinking about all the work we have to do, what we have to do at home for our families. It's very hard to concentrate. It is proven that if you do micro learning, there are between 3 to 5 minutes. That is interactive, meaning the content, where the people, when the users are watching the content, they're able to do a drag and drop. It's engaging. Yes, the success rate is very much higher. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the next question. Ini ada pertanyaan dari Mas Badrul Zaman. Apakah pemakaian digital e-learning masa yang akan datang pada generasi milenial dan Zoomer? Sebab metodologi via digital menjadi booming ketika ada wabah virus corona di seluruh dunia. Tapi gimana kalau sudah berhenti wabahnya tersebut? Efektifkah dengan pemakaian pembelajaran digital tersebut? Oh, jadi kurang lebih pertanyaannya setelah wabah pandemi ini, bagaimanakah nasib digital learning gitu? Apakah masih efektif dipakai atau gimana? Boleh Mas Ferdi?
Thank you Mas Badrul, ini pertanyaannya relevan banget ya. Jadi kemarin waktu bikin materi ini dan sebelum-sebelumnya juga saya kan sudah banyak baca beberapa jurnal lah ya, transformasi digital dan seterusnya. Saya yakin pemakaian digital masih tetap akan bertahan even though COVID-19 sudah lewat gitu ya. At least untuk sebagian lah, misalkan untuk in terms of digital L&D nih Mas Badrul Zaman, maka kita tetap akan menggunakan sebagian besar dari digital, meskipun mungkin akan digabung dengan beberapa blended learning gitu, tapi tidak akan hilang sepenuhnya lah. Mungkin kalau untuk kayak sekolah gitu ya, di mana tatap muka menjadi penting, tapi saya yakin pasti ada beberapa bagian di mana si digital itu akan tetap digunakan. Memang nggak bisa dihindari sih, kita sudah masuk ke digital era dan semua orang harus bisa beradaptasi dengan hal tersebut gitu ya. Ya sebagai contoh ya kan, dulu orang mungkin bikin virtual event deh. Virtual event itu kan banyak kan kita bikinnya offline gitu ya. Tapi sekarang orang melihat, ternyata untuk bikin virtual event itu webinar bisa dengan mudah loh. Kayak Jojonomic sekarang ya Mbak Gin ya. Kita nggak repot lagi bikin tempat, ngumpulin orang, kemudian nyiapin makan siang. Karena makan siang sendiri-sendiri ya. Kayak sekarang mungkin sambil makan kan. Jadi rasanya kayak webinar, e-learning, LMS itu pasti tetap akan digunakan. Bukan hanya digunakan Mas Badro kalau menurut saya. Akan terus growth. Kenapa ya? Karena yang tadi saya bilang kembali ke tadi ya, COVID-19 ini membuat kita berubah cara kita berpikir, cara kita berperilaku, dan kita sudah tahu enaknya digital. Satu contohnya Mas Baru ini contoh konkret sekali. Sebelum COVID-19, Telkom sudah pernah melakukan suatu inisiatif untuk melakukan FWA, Flexible Working Arrangement, Mbak Gin. Tapi belum pernah dijalankan secara konkret. Begitu COVID-19 sudah jalan beberapa lama, direktur karena kita transformasi digital langsung bikin satgasnya. Apa itu WFA? Jadi nanti karyawan Telkom itu akan dibagi yang memang harus WFO karena orang operation biasanya kayak teknisi IndiHome dan seterusnya. Orang yang bisa 50-50, orang yang full kerja di rumah. Yang 50-50 tadi sebutannya adalah hybrid. Jadi itulah kondisi tadi kita sudah masuk ke digital era, itu tidak akan banyak berubah menurut saya. Justru malah akan keep improving, akan muncul lagi teknologi-teknologi baru. Jadi message saya buat Mas Mbak semua di sini adalah kita harus menyiapkan diri kita sih untuk beradaptasi karena meskipun nanti COVID-19 sudah lewat, saya yakin sekali hidup dengan era digital ini akan terus bertahan sih dan akan terus growing. Mudah-mudahan menjawab ya Mas Badrul ya. Thank you Mbak Gin.
Oke, terima kasih Mas Ferdi. And up next, there's a questions from Mr. Arnoldus Andre, specifically for Mr. Subas. Hi, Mr. Subas. Good afternoon. Based on your experience, how is the best strategy to maximize the use of e-learning or LMS in terms of the implementation and evaluation also, since it will affect to the company budget and needs to be proven by the results? Do you have any tips or steps to change face-to-face learning to e-learning culture in company? Thank you.
Okay, that's a very good question. So I think what I would like to suggest is to answer that question in terms of understanding the return on investment. That is a long calculation that I'm happy to share with him. So if you guys want, you can please give me his email after this. I'm happy for the question that he asked. But in terms of implementation and stuff, I think the most important thing to understand is you need to make sure that whatever tool or platform or whatever that you're using, there's no doubt about it. In today's culture and the vision of Indonesia, we are moving into the digital space. We are not moving backwards. We are all moving forward. Our president has already announced, and this is a big initiative across the board that's happening, right? As far as implementation and everything goes, I think one of the points I like to emphasize is make sure that there is one way is not better than the other way, but I think we need to understand and get insights into our user behavior, right? First and foremost, I think the big mistake a lot of companies do is we don't understand our users. We haven't received their feedback. We don't know what they want. We haven't take the time to assess their gaps. We just immediately put them in a role, ask them to execute, and everybody's just too busy, right? We have to make sure that we take the time every quarter to understand what their needs are, their gaps are. And also we're looking at a tool in terms of adoption. I think is very important, right? Like anything else, most companies will the first thing they'll talk about, they'll say, oh, LMS, it's not business critical. Yes, it's not business critical because from a day-to-day transactional perspective, there may be your ERP systems and your other tools that are out there. But let me tell you something, it is going to be critical down the road, and it is going to be very critical already right now, because when the pandemic hit, we all know that we don't have a way of communicating and training and developing our employees. There's a huge gap, right? As far as implementation, it's very fundamental to understand and find a partner that understands what you're trying to do, what you're trying to do for your organization, what your organization wants and needs. Because again, there's so many different things out there. It's just like buying a car. You can go buy Toyota, you can buy Mercedes, you can buy whatever it is. You have a budget for everyone and everything. But at the end of the day, you need to pick the vehicle that is most suitable for you, right? How do we define suitability? A few important things to remember. You should always have features and functions, especially in today's modern world with all the millennials that we have, that the tools need to have social learning elements. Because if you do not have social learning elements, no matter what tool you put there, your employees are not going to be on the platform. They want to be able to share best practices. They want to be able to talk about their experiences, right? When you have like a blogging feature in the platform, how does that help an organization? Let me tell you how it helps. If we today we have some clients that have in the retail, they have hundreds of shops across Indonesia. One shop did a promotion that's working very well. Typically what they would do is they wait till the end of the month, and then they'll tell their managers or all the other managers what they did very well, why they're doing very well. Now with our LMS platform, what they're doing is they're able to blog about it the same day. They can take a short video, they can talk about what's the promotion they ran, how they're experiencing it, what is the benefits. They blog, they put it in the LMS platform. Guess what, guys? All the other retail shops immediately understand, get the notification, they're watching it. Now, the impact on the business, it is, I'm not waiting till another month. I immediately know what my consumer insight is, what my consumer want, right? But so I think the times are changing. I think what's the key thing to understand is um, the timing is very important. Efficiency is very important. And I think it is most important to understand that we cannot make change if we do not have the insights of our consumer, our users, or the people who want to use the product.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subhash. Okay, because the time is running out, maybe just one more question. Okay, question from Mbak Elina Bustami. Seberapa jauh keberhasilan sebuah korporasi memperkerjakan new employee dengan employee yang berpengalaman? Mengingat biasanya fresh graduate lebih mudah dan kemauan belajarnya rata-rata lebih tinggi dan masih fresh. Nah, silakan dijawab, Mas Ferdi mungkin.
Ini banyak pertanyaan nyerempet rekrutmen ya.
Iya, ini banyak yang tentang HR ya.
Saya hampir berapa tahun nih kemarin, 10 tahun di rekrutmen. Saya thank you so much for the questions ya. Tetap related lah sama human capital. Kalau kita merekrut untuk new employee, itu baik fresh grade maupun yang pro hire, itu kan berarti tergantung role yang dicari sebenarnya ya. Itu dulu sebenarnya. Jadi kalau kita mencari yang staff, administrasi, kemudian misalkan cari MT, biasanya kita cari fresh grade. Tapi kalau kita nyari yang memang sudah berpengalaman untuk nge-lead tim, biasanya kita cari yang pro hire. Kalau saya sebetulnya dari pengalaman saya, keduanya sebenarnya ada yang berhasil, keduanya juga ada yang gagal juga. Pada ujungnya bermuaranya kemana? Kepada proses rekrutmen dan seleksi kita sebenarnya. Dalam kita, cara kita untuk dari pertama banget deh, dari cara kita menseleksi CV gitu ya, sesuai dengan roles-nya, kemudian background pendidikannya dan pengalamannya. And then kita seberapa tajam kita dalam mengidentifikasi untuk alat ukurnya yang tadi sudah saya sempat jelaskan ya. Korporasi masing-masing pasti punya list of kompetensi yang mereka wajibkan gitu ya untuk seorang karyawan bisa bergabung. Dulu di Astra kita punya 8 leadership Astra kompetensi, di Telkom kita sekarang punya 10 kompetensi. Berbasiskan itu dulu. Dari situ kita mengukurnya dengan yang tes tadi saya bilang, dan kalau menurut saya pribadi, karena saya orang psikologi, yang paling penting sebetulnya saat interview sih. Interview psikolog maupun interview user, itu poin paling penting. Jadi kalau Anda merekrut karyawan yang ternyata tidak perform, pasti ada yang salah dari proses rekrutmen Anda. Kalau saya melihatnya dari kacamata seorang human capital. Kecuali karyawan ini bapaknya bos ya Anda. Nah, kalau titipan-titipan saya udah nggak mau komentar ya. Kalau titipan-titipan karena dia anaknya siapa, anaknya saya udah nggak mau komentar. Karena dia melewati proses yang harus dilakukan. That's why kita menyebutnya, sebagai penutup, seleksi dan rekrutmen itu sebagai filterisasi nih Mas dan Mbak semua. Untuk memastikan bahwa karyawan yang Anda terima itu tidak salah, Anda harus take care benar bahwa proses rekrutmen yang seleksi Anda benar. Kompetensi yang Anda pakai benar, proses yang Anda pakai benar, kemudian orang yang mewawancara juga memiliki kapabilitas untuk melakukan wawancara itu dan mengambil keputusan. Jadi saya rasa itu. Jadi bukan berdasarkan fresh grad sama pro hire kalau saya lihat, tapi lebih bagaimana korporasi membentuk proses rekrutmen dan seleksinya tadi. Mudah-mudahan menjawab ya, Mbak.
Oke, thank you very much, Mas Ferdi atas jawabannya. You have closing statement to end the session?
Yes. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you, everybody. I know there's a lot of questions that we were not able to answer. So if there's anything we can do to accommodate that, Gina, that would be great. Maybe we can separately answer the questions. But to everyone that's joined, I would like to personally thank you for your interest and your time in listening to what myself and Pop Verdi have to say. Again, this is not something that is going to be done in 1 day or 2 days. This is something that's going to evolve and take time. But it's important that we understand the benefits and try to do the right thing, because we don't want to be the ones that are left behind, right? I think in order for us to take things to the next level, we need to empower ourselves, right? Like what Pak Verdi said, the growth mindset is all about empowering oneself and taking things to the next level. So again, thank you all very much for listening to us today. I really enjoyed the questions, and if you have any other questions, feel free to direct them to Gina and the team, and I'm happy to answer them. Thank you all, and have a good weekend. Please stay safe. I look forward to meeting all of you soon. Thank you.
Terima kasih Dinda.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Stay healthy. Thank you, Mas.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Nonton, Provos Park. Bye-bye.
Thank you.